what's in your view that some immediate structural changes which organizations need to make in their data teams?
And I'm especially excited about today's topic because it is not only I can talk about how the law is going to shape how companies and businesses work around personal data, but also about what are the real life scenarios in terms of implementation. And as you very rightly put, it is driving large structural and org level changes. And the question is, are we ready to first accept that the change that is being almost pushed on us, and how agile we are in accepting that change? Because once the implementation starts, right now it's, we are in a good space because the rules are yet to come, the law is there, so we have the data protection board is still not in existence. So this is the time to prepare, and this is the time to get our act together so that when the rules come out, organizations can show readiness. Large organizations, they could be significant data fiduciaries or regulated entities, really won't have a face to say that we waited for the rules to come in and we need more time for implementation. So I think that is something that we need to understand as a real life scenario, that because when I deal with my clients, companies, certain regulated entities, uh, somewhere there's some companies are still in some form of a slumber. Let's think of it when the rules come out.
Yes.
That really is not going to help once they come out and once the implementation starts. And changes, any form of change, it has to be organic, has to be over a period of time so that people understand why the change has come and adapt to the change and then finally start working efficiently. So to put this in perspective, that what are the org level or the structural changes or the internal governance mechanisms that need to change so as to holistically understand how DPDP is going to work, the first and the foremost is the board needs to have a buy-in for this. So a board level understanding of how this law works is extremely crucial, because whatever is done by anything other than a non-board member, he could be at a very senior position in the organization, but if you don't have a board's buy-in, it's actually of no use. And even the board now needs to understand it is no longer compliance. It is no longer an operational risk if this implementation is not done. It is a strategic risk. And the moment you understand the law as a strategic risk, uh, uh, how the board or the management starts looking at implementation changes. See, I'm assuming that the participants are also from all types of companies. It could be large companies where the maturity is definitely much more, but small and medium sized enterprises also need to understand that it has to be a board driven strategy. It has to be a top down strategy. That is number one. The second change that one expects that companies should do is uh, to have a proper function uh, defined under legal and IT. Because till now, traditionally, the legal teams would look at this subject in a very traditional manner, say at best contract management, and IT would look at it in terms of certain controls. But the IT and legal teams are not talking to each other in terms of a commonplace compliance. And therefore, having certain team members introduced in these teams who will own the function of privacy is very important. So now if we move down, now we have two teams who need to sort of ramp up in terms of having privacy specific expertise within the teams. IT and security teams also need to understand the concept of privacy by design. So here is a legal team who is going to tell the tech team that we need to implement these say principles of privacy, say consent management or data retention or data erasure. and how that works, how that needs to work seamlessly and at scale is what the IT team needs to understand to implement. And that is why talking to each other becomes so crucial. At the same time, it is not just privacy by design, but it is also security by design, and the
Yeah.
security teams also need to operate at the same frequency or at the same vibration, if I can say, giving equal importance to what privacies. And I think in the earlier I did see that the link that you had sent on YouTube, and the earlier expert did talk about the cultural aspects of privacy, which is so important that we understand the importance of this
Yeah,
subject and the
absolutely.
principle, so that all the teams talk to each other with the same seriousness. None of
Right.
the team members or none of the team can say, I will look at this at a later stage.
Hmm.
There are other
Right.
priorities. Let me handle those priorities first, and then I'm going to look at this at a later stage. And last but not the least is the data protection officer and the grievance officer. I'll come to that a little later. I'm sure you will have questions around this. But
Yes.
if I have to look at a team structure, then these are the 4, 5 very, very important players in it.